Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we're coming live. Voice is Care for Animals podcast. Welcome aboard, everyone.
Hello, Debbie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, fine.
So, tonight's going to be a great topic
Yes, it is.
because whatever we can do to help animals is why you have your podcast, right?
That's right. Speaking out for all the animals in need and distress.
Because, of course, they can't speak for themselves.
That's right.
Are you able to
Hel-
hear me clearly?
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. I can hear you very clearly. Judy, this is
Oh, good, good,
great.
good.
Welcome back, and I want to go over a couple things before we do get started, okay? And
Sure.
everyone, this is Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals podcast, coming live to you every Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Listening worldwide, everyone. And you can and big hello to all you out on the web, Podbean podcast that's tuning in. If you want to join us in the chat room, you're more than welcome. Just download the free app from either Google Play or Apple Store, and it's under podcast, or I'm sorry, Podbean podcast app and player. Install free, and then what you're going to do is follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast, okay? And you're in, and all the shows are on there on the app, and also on the web. You can listen and share 24/7, and that's Voices Carry for Animals. Um, podbean.com, okay? And you can start up an account. Just go to podbean.com and create an account. And what you'll need is your full name or nickname, email address, and also a password. And then click that you're not a robot and create account. And you can follow. And hello, Michelle. She is also joining us this evening. And Mama Cat, this is great. I hope all of you enjoyed the show. Judy's has come back, and she's always welcome back. She's doing Judy's dog report out there, and she's making some helpful tips and a professional at this. And one of her, Judy Weiss, is the business owner and blogger at Executive Pet Concierge and Judy's Dog Report. For this evening will be 5 important helpful tips to know before getting a dog. Okay, educate people so they can be prepared to offer a dog a forever home and avoiding returning dogs to shelters. So this is a very important topics here. We got her coming on there. Just go over a couple things here. Saturday, August the 9th, I've had several guests for the to stop the Florida bear hunt down here in Florida, and there's going to be a big protest in all these different cities. If you want to join, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Saturday, okay? And you could visit beardefenders.org, and they have all the where you could go and join us, and they supply the signs and everything, because this bear hunt is supposed to be coming in December. It's terrible. I mean, you're allowed up to 6 dogs up to attack and kill bears. The bow and arrow, and they need to leave these bears alone. I had Kate McFall on several weeks ago. She's the Florida director at the Humane World for Animals. And she did a great show, and so did Adam Chudowski, and he is the campaign coordinator for BearDefenders.org. And I mean, it's just terrible. They want to, and they're going to vote August 13th and 14th at FWC. So everyone, please, there is a petition out there. I do have it stored on my wall, on my timeline, all over social media. You can also visit them at Bear Defenders on the Facebook, and also One Protest. You could visit because they're also helping out. It's all the information's on there too. Okay, One Protest on Facebook, and advocacy our organization. So check that out and hope to have a record breaking turnout. There hasn't been a bear hunt in Florida in over 10 years. Okay. So let's get it stopped because it's cruel and it's heartless. It's torture to the black bears. They're not bothering anybody. But anyway, I'm gonna go with the show, and my name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear, and Mama Bear is on the air because she really does care. And I want to welcome all you, everyone aboard here. Hello, aloha, and Darla. I see you coming in too. There's great super team going on, and you can visit my website, voicescareforanimals.com. Subscribe free, and after the shows are downloaded and I edited and then published, you can listen right from my website, the live show, and it has a podcast player on there with the last 5 shows. You could press the link and they're on there. It's awesome. And also podserve.fm, Animal Advocates Radio. After you could go there, follow, and all the shows are listed on there. Also on the app that you could visit, and you could play from there, and also Podbean podcast, my host website on there also. So there's so many ways that you can listen to it, and my YouTube channels, Voices Carry for Animals podcast, on YouTube. You subscribe free, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast. Also, there are shows on there that was used to be all about animals radio. Big shout out to John Bowden. They closed down, months ago, and he thought of me and he said, you want this channel, and so he, all his interviews are on there. Also, 78 of them plus mine. I will hope he does come back because he was a super team player, and miss him very much because he was a great voice out there for the animals too. But I'm going to bring Judy on, Judy Weiss, and welcome her back. This is great, Judy. You there? You're live and on the air. You got
I
you in
am
there.
here. Thank you so much for having me, Debbie.
Oh, anytime. You're always welcome back. This is great, and this is a walk. I mean, Blog Talk Radio was a walk and a talk compared to Podbean app and web, but it rocks. Okay, I love it a lot better. One door closed and a new, better one opened, so I had to figure out
Absolutely.
everything.
And
Yes.
it is easier to connect this way than the old platform you were on, for sure.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and once this show's done, I'll send you because the promo I got out right now is the temporary one, and after I get it edited, I add all the links and all that. So you're
Oh,
good to go, and
perfect.
I'll send you the latest link on that. Okay,
And I
as soon
will
as I get
promote
it
it.
done. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I've been promoting all day. I've been a busy bee. I'll tell
I
you.
bet you have.
Facebook and X and also LinkedIn. So my fingers have been doing the running, not walking, running.
And it's probably autopilot now, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of help too out there. Fans of animal rights on Facebook. I mean, this list is huge. That helps me out because I tag a lot. Especially on X and put it on Facebook with great groups and pages I admin, and it gets out there. I mean, since the beginning when I started. So that's what I call teamwork. So.
Absolutely, because we're all have the same interest in mind.
Yes, and everyone keep liking the show on in this chat room. Share it. You can share it from here. There's all kind of features, okay,
Hmm.
that you can do and communicate with each other. And I'll be taking calls at the later part of the show. And we usually run over an hour, Judy, because that gives us plenty of time. We don't have to rush. We can get everything in there,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
if that's fine with you,
Yeah.
and I give you the guest option. If you want to leave, you're more than welcome. We understand. Or if you want to stay, we can. Hey, take the show because I really love this podcast. Thank you, Podbean podcast app and player.
Oh,
This
it
is
sounds like
awesome.
it's much more flexible than your other platform.
Yes, definitely, and it gets out there more. I mean, as soon as this show is published, it goes out to 24 other podcast websites. Isn't that amazing?
Fantastic. That's amazing.
Yes, two YouTube channels. My Voices Care for Animals website. So it's getting out there. The voices do carry for the animals, and this is proof. Our voices will carry. So,
Yes.
yeah, but you want to go ahead and tell the audience, refresh them, and how you got started, and you're amazing all the work you do and all the education, and it's so bringing all the awareness and helpful tips and knowledge because we can't just go get a pet and not learn anything about them or how to take care of. You know what I'm saying? We have to
Absolutely.
know. I mean, I know I have to do in the past to learn about them, to know the best way to take care of them and to
So, and
communicate. And there's so many. But go right ahead.
I started my dog care business, Executive Pet Concierge, in 2007. And so it's almost 20 years. And over that time, I just organically just kept researching information, education, everything from dog training to dog nutrition to what really is a good quality, safe dog groomer. What am I looking for in the food I buy for my dog? And I found that as I was walking, my business is about walking one dog at a time, boarding one dog at a time, and I provide daycare one at a time. And so as I'm walking one dog at a time through the community of Toronto, I kept meeting people who would start talking to me, and I was educating one person at a time till about 2020. It had nothing to do with COVID. It was just a coincidence that that was the year I did this because I started my blog before the COVID
That
change.
might
And
be it.
are you able to hear
Hello?
me?
Hold on. Yeah, yeah. Hold on a second. I got to mute. Okay, go ahead. Go right ahead. I
Am I
just
okay
heard another.
now?
I had to. Yes, I just had a. I forgot to because when you're in the queue, I got it to mute so it doesn't pick up any other sounds. But you're
Oh,
fine.
okay. So should I start over?
No, no, go right ahead. They're
Okay.
listening.
Okay.
Yep.
So my blog that I have now, my mission is to educate the public in every aspect of making ethical dog care choices, starting with the five essential things that people need to know before getting a dog. And my mission is so that if people can have all these five things in mind before they get a dog and really plan for it, they have a higher chance of truly promising that dog a forever home for his entire life because things happen in life, right? So I put
Yes.
it upon me to give a checklist to people, which is in my blog, a checklist of things to plan for and what happens if emergencies happen. So we'll get to that in a moment. So of the five things that are important, and I'll talk about each of them, is consider if your lifestyle is suitable for a dog, and I'll get into detail about that. Research and understand dog behavior so that you're prepared to meet the dog's needs before you actually get a dog. Budget for the expenses because trust me, it's not cheap. And do the research in advance of getting your dog to find ethical pet care services such as dog groomers, veterinarians, the food you're going to buy, the stores you're going to buy the food from, all of that. Because I believe if we choose businesses that are ethical, not only will our dog be happier, healthier, and safer, but we're also encouraging the ethical pet care businesses or even the retail stores and the manufacturers. We're encouraging those businesses to thrive and either put the unethical businesses out of business or they change their business model and they start operating in an ethical manner. So that is my mission with my blog. Also, the fifth thing to know, and I'll get into a little bit of detail, but is planning for what if something happens and you can't take care of your dog anymore now during the dog's lifetime. So when I talk about is your lifestyle suitable for living with a dog, there's many things to consider. And the very first thing is, will there be someone or people in your home that will have time to spend with your dog every single day? Because the dog is dependent on us to fulfill their needs for everything. And so, do you have somebody at home that'll be there every day to train your dog, to take him for walks, to play with him? And the benefits of just hanging out with your dog can be underestimated completely. The benefit for you, the benefit for the dog, but the dogs really need company. They're social creatures. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, do you have children? Well, are your children at an age where it's appropriate for them to understand the responsibility of having a dog in the house? I generally feel that when children are 8 years old or over, they're at an age where they can understand, when we communicate to them, what's involved with taking care of a dog. And then I really do believe it's important for parents to get children to commit to that participation. It not only helps the dog bond with everybody in the house, but I honestly believe that it helps children respect, love animals, understand the responsibility about caring for a living being that's dependent on us, which can only help them in life as they go forward. Also, the one big factor is, are your children's personalities suitable to have a dog in the house? Can we respect a dog's needs? Not every dog wants to be grabbed, hugged, and picked up, especially if they're small. Of course, we're not going to pick up a Great Dane, but
Right.
that would be kind of difficult. But dogs in general do not like to be grabbed, and just because, or even hugged, and many don't want to be picked up. We can get consent from them, and there's a way of recognizing the body language from a dog if they want this interaction or they don't. And just because a dog doesn't bite when those circumstances happen doesn't mean that they're not stressed. It could just mean that they're tolerating it. But it also means if they are just tolerating it, at some point they may bite. And because that's their only defense, they can't push you away in any other way, right? So I think it's really important to understand, do your children understand? They may not be able to, if depending on the dog you get, and you won't know till they're home, that dog may not want to be picked up. That dog may not want to be hugged. Will your children understand those instructions for everybody's happiness, including the dog, but especially the dog? So those are things to consider. The other thing is, when you are talking to your child, what does your child, how's your child respond? Does the child think that you're just going to take care of the dog? In my blog, I actually have a link to a book. Debbie, you know Rebound Dog, right?
Yes, I've had Spencer Hodges on several times. He's
There you go.
awesome. Yes, yes.
There's a gentleman that I've collaborated with to promote his book. His name is Saren Walsh, and he has an ebook about with a unique children's book that goes into every day of, like, from day one of having a dog to every day what's involved with taking care of the dog. And it has diagrams and everything else and pictures. And the point of his book is so that he's hoping the child looks at his parents and says, no, I don't want a dog. That's too much responsibility. And that they don't even finish the whole book. Because if people wisely choose not to get a dog at that point in time in their lives, that's better than getting one and not giving it a forever home for the dog's sake. So you can check out my blog. It's at judysdogreport.com. And it's under things you need to know before getting a dog. And then you'll see this series on the 5 things you need to know before getting one. And so once we consider, is your lifestyle suitable, your lifestyle has to also include, where are you living? If you're living in an apartment, are you sure your apartment building can tolerate a dog that barks, even if it's periodically? People will report an excessive barking dog. What happens if whether you're an apartment or a condo and you're requested to have the dog removed because if the barking is considered disruptive to everyone else, what will be your plan? Do you have somebody as a backup who has said, if you have any problems, I'm taking this dog? And then this way you have a friend or family member that's going to give that dog a forever home, and you could still interact with the dog as much as you want. So it's something to consider. What if when you look at your finances, um, looking at your current day finances, can you reasonably afford to buy high quality food, to pay for vet visits as required? And I'll get into more on that in a second. Could you afford to hire a trainer? Because I would say planning to get a dog in your house, it's a good idea to seek out a force-free dog trainer in your neighborhood, so that you can get some insight and help, because it's going to be an adjustment for you and your family, and it's going to be an adjustment for that dog, I promise you. Even if it's a puppy, we're not always prepared about the circumstances that are going to happen, because even a puppy can do things that you just never imagined. But rather than guessing how to manage it, even if you've had a dog before, every dog you get in the future is different. They have a different individual personality and character, just like we as human beings do. And actually, there's been studies that have indicated there's more variance in an individual dog's behavior within a breed than in between breeds. So let's just say, in my case, I've had mini poodles. From one mini poodle to the next, the behavior can be drastically different, which is what happened to me. And it's from a breeder connected to the breeder I got my first mini poodle, that my followers know was Roxy, and now I have Casey. So it's important to get a reliable and trustworthy dog trainer. They can cost anywhere from $50 to $100. I'm talking Canadian, so it'll be less expensive in the States, but $50 to $100 an hour. And often the consultation will be 2 hours, and then they will come up with a plan if you need any assistance, like once a week or once a month or whatever. But I think it's important to keep that in mind, because a dog trainer might really save your relationship with the dog, so that you don't have to surrender the dog under circumstances that you feel that might happen that feel unmanageable. When we're looking at the cost of keeping a home for your dog, when you're looking at whether even you're renting or you own your home, if you're renting, it's not as it may not be as stable. Like, what happens if you're renting from someone, a private owner, and they're selling the house? What if you're renting from a building that they have decided now they're selling all the units to become condos? What will happen? You just need to understand the limitations. What happens if you have to move, and where you move? What if you can't find a place that allows dogs? What will be your plan? Again, to have that backup person is what most people should have, so that your dog doesn't have to be surrendered to a shelter. And whether you
Right.
get a rescue instead of a puppy or whatever, it's important to research high quality rescue shelters and high quality breeders. Both can have these businesses that appear ethical, they appear authentic, and yet they are just either puppy mills for dogs, like, little puppies, or they're unethical rescue shelters that are purely in it to make money. And they advertise all sorts of things, and then whether on the internet, and then when you connect with them, you see a picture of a dog that you want, and they will not let you go to the facility to get the dog. They'll say, no, we'll bring it to you. And this is the case for puppy mills also. And then they show up with a completely different looking dog because it's not the one that you saw. And you don't even know where they're getting these dogs from when it's a rescue. Most of them are really ethical, but there are some that are just in it, unscrupulous and scammers, and they're in it just to make money. So I do have a blog on deciphering the high quality and the poor quality rescue agencies, just like avoiding puppy mills and backyard breeders that are not ethical. So as we consider more, what else do we need to know? Well, we need to consider the actual costs. So high quality food. Okay, let me go back a bit. When it comes to the size of the dog, size matters. The bigger the dog, the more expensive it'll be in every aspect to take care of, from the food to grooming to vet bills, because once you need to purchase any meds, once if you have to put them in for surgery of any kind, it's going to cost more because they have to give them more sedation medication and all post-operative medication because the dog is bigger. Grooming is more expensive because it takes longer, often depending on the breed and the type of fur. But research all this before you choose the breed and the size. Size does matter. And one of the things that I personally have never had a large dog, although I've taken care of them for other people in my dog care business, is at some point dogs either sadly get injured, but by the end of their lives they get sick. And at some point you have to be able to pick up that dog and put him in your car to bring him to a vet. And if the dog is beyond, I'm just going to say 20 pounds, how are you going to do that? So I know it's a real sad thought when we're looking forward to welcoming a new dog to our home, whether it's a puppy or a rescue older dog or whatever. If it's going to be a large dog, 30, 40, 50, 90, over 100 pounds, how will you be able to help this dog if it gets sick or injured when it's so big? So that's something to consider as well. And the cost of food is more, like I said, the cost of veterinarian, the cost of grooming, it's all more expensive the bigger the dog. Something to think about. I would say research the various breeds and their fur types and their personalities, because you want to do your best to find the right match for you. And by the way, all those breeds that are so-called hypoallergenic, no dog is truly hypoallergenic. That is not possible. All dogs have dander. So even though if a dog doesn't shed, it doesn't mean someone who has dog allergies isn't going to be allergic to that dog. And here's an example. Someone I know, he was fine growing up with a golden retriever, and boy, did they shed. When he became an adult, he decided to get a Samoyed, and it's a fluffier dog, but it's not because of the fur. What happened was when it was a puppy, when he got the puppy, when it started licking his skin, my friend's skin, he broke into rashes. He was utterly, totally allergic to this particular breed. So please do your research, because it would be awful if you get a dog and then you can't keep the dog because you're allergic to the dog. So that's a real important thing to keep in mind. As we consider, everything else in terms of what I've just discussed. So here we are, we're talking about researching the breed, making sure that you understand dog behavior, budgeting for it. Now, researching ethical retail and pet care services. What's an ethical pet care service? Well, we have local stores here in Toronto that are independent from the big chains of the pet supply stores, and they do the vetting of the high quality foods for me, and I know what they sell I can trust, because they do their research. They make sure that the food that they sell are from ethical manufacturers who are sourcing the ingredients in an ethical manner, that the ingredients and recipes are balanced nutrition for a dog or a cat for that matter. So how do we sift them out? Your neighborhood must have some of these kind of stores. But even if, let's just say you're going to a PetSmart, there's so much demand for high quality food that even PetSmart here in Toronto has started selling some high quality Canadian raw food, which is a great sign. So the big pet stores might have products. You're just going to have to work a little harder and do your research to find out if a product you want is truly high quality to feed your pet. As you're looking at other services, I have a blog on, I have a blog on dog nutrition, as well as how to find a high quality dog groomer. I have a checklist there, and amongst it is how many dogs at a time does this business have in their facility? Is it 2 other dogs, 5 other dogs, 10 other dogs? Are these dogs in kennels, or are they roaming around? If they're roaming around, are they supervised? This is no different than a dog park in the sense that you have multiple dogs that don't know each other just put in a space, in a very small space. So it's not a safe environment for your dog, because even though your dog might be completely dog friendly, you don't know what those other dogs are like, and your dog can get attacked without you knowing that that might happen. So I look for dog groomers where they put the dogs in kennels while they're waiting in between the stages, because I know my dog is safest in the kennel. Of course, this is for dogs that have been crate trained, and that's another good reason to crate train your dog, because you never know when it's going to be absolutely necessary for your dog to be crated, and that's at a vet appointment, at a grooming appointment. It's important. So those are the kind of things you can look for in a dog groomer, but you could check out my blog for more information. Who's going to take care of your dog when you go on vacation? It could be that plan B person who you have in the backup that would take your dog permanently if your lifestyle changed and you can't keep the dog. Often that person, may not be available or whatever. So it's a good idea to have a very reliable, ethical dog care service to take care of your dog. And I do have a checklist on my blog for you to what to look for. Is it in somebody's home? Are they insured? Because people who operate out of their home, and I'm one of them, might just be doing it to make money on the side and really are not professional dog care providers, and don't have experience, don't have dog training experience or training themselves, don't have insurance, which is to cover the unlikely event that something goes wrong and your dog gets injured or something like that. That has never happened in my 20 years for me, but it could happen accidentally even. Is that dog care provider where you want to board your dog going to be a safe person to take care of your dog? So that's something you need to look into in advance. I'm saying look into all of this before you get the dog, so you have it all set up and you don't even have to think about it. Yeah, so those are the most important things in terms of preparing yourself to decide if it's the right time for you to get a dog. Does your lifestyle actually, is it suitable for having a dog in your life and your family and your home? Then the final thing to know and to plan for, even before you get the dog, is who will take care of your dog if you no longer can do so yourself due to life-changing circumstances. And that could be, as I mentioned briefly earlier, that could be, what if you lose your job? What if you're dependent on your spouse's income and your spouse passes away? What happens if you move to like I mentioned, if you have to move and you can't find a place that accepts dogs? And what if, heaven forbid, you get sick, or if you pass away before your dog's life is over? Just make sure you have that plan B person who is committed to taking your dog if something happens to you. And this should be documented in your will, as well as I once had someone who said, well, the person I've chosen to take my dog, if something happened to me and my husband, I said to him, do you mind if I put your information in my will so that the information's right there? And he said, better than that. He said, send an email to all your friends and family telling them that I'm the person that has agreed to take your dog if something happens, and post it somewhere in your house. So I actually have a paper on my fridge, so that, let's just say there's an emergency and the emergency professionals, the police, fire people, or whatever, are coming through my house. Hopefully they'll see this, and it's the name and the phone number of the person that's going to take my dog in such circumstances, even if it's temporary. Let's just say I'm temporarily injured, have to go to the hospital, whatever. Everybody will know. My family, friends, everybody will know who's taking my dog if me and my husband are not around. So I thought that was a fabulous thing that he suggested. Rather than just put it in my will, make it well known amongst my friends and family. So that, because he pointed out, by the time the will is read, that's a good 7 to 14 days after you've passed away. And by then the dog has already been put in a shelter to be adopted. And they wouldn't even have known your wishes yet. So that sums it up in a nutshell. There's much more detail in my blog, but I wanted to just explain the highlights of the details that are so important in this topic.
Oh yeah, and they're all important too, because I know when I adopted Sugar Bear, and she's an Alaskan Malamute, and I had no clue about the Alaskan Malamutes. So I
Oh,
educated myself to know, because I've never been around them. It was the first time, and just learning, and she came into the house, and she was very comfortable at first. I was amazed, and just learning about her. I mean, I learned, Judy, that they can withstand below 20-degree weather. And I was like,
wow.
not me.
Yeah, right,
Maybe
eh?
that's what.
Do you
No
live in a
way.
cold climate?
No, in Florida here, and
Oh my God, you're in Florida.
yeah, so it's
Oh, poor
very
dog.
hot now. I know, and she hates it this weather, and I can't blame her because I do too.
Yeah, right.
It's just the humidity is tough, and and then September next month is the highest peak in hurricanes. So
Oh
when that
boy.
weather comes, 40, 50 degrees, she loves it.
Oh
She
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to stay out there because he's a big fur ball.
And I guess she's big enough that if high winds come in, granted not a hurricane, but if high winds come in, it won't blow her over, right?
Right. And she's a big girl. She's what,
Yeah, yeah.
115 pounds, so she's a big, nice sized girl.
Oh my
And she,
God.
yes, and she hardly barks.
Oh,
And yeah, she howls like a wolf, though. It cracks me up. And I mean, just like when I get to singing and clapping or howling with her, and I just, you
oh,
know, and when she was adopted and everything, it was like, wow, Alaskan Malamute. They're related to the Huskies. I've been
yes,
some around some Huskies, but
yes,
just to learn it, educate yourself on
yes,
them, because
yes,
that's the key. You don't want to stress yourself out on, doing something wrong. I didn't read it. And take that
yes,
time and educate yourself. Bond with them because they love to be around you when you're talking to them and petting them and
yes,
spending time,
yes,
not just feeding them and leave or let them outside. Spend
yes.
time with them and show them the love and care, and they love you. If I'm not talking to her for like an hour, she thinks I'm mad at her.
Aw.
And I was like, no, I'm not mad at you. So they love
And
for you to
and
communicate with them.
so
Yes.
much of that interaction that you're talking about is good mind stimulation for them, because
Yes.
it's not just physical exercise that they need mental stimulation. And there's lots of products out there for what they call enrichment for dogs. They
Hmm.
also have this for cats. It's really interesting. But for dogs, um, if you get one of those Kong treat balls and you put treats in and they roll it around the floor to get the treat, or let's say kibble or whatever, to pop out, that is extremely enriching for them and stimulates their mind. It tires them out as much as physical exertion. And it has a little bit of physical in it because they have to walk around the house as they're rolling the ball. You could also use it outside if you have a fenced in backyard or whatever. The only thing is I avoid it because I don't want to attract wild animals in case my dog leaves some kibble behind. Um, but I have my dog do that indoors, and there's something called snuffle mats, where they're made in different fabrics, and some people make them themselves, hand make them, and you could just buy them anywhere. And they're fabric, and you just hide the treats inside the fabric, so they have to sniff and find it as if they were in the forest. So when you talk about paying attention to the dog, that is stimulation, and they need it.
Yes, all the
Otherwise,
way.
because they're such
Hmm.
social creatures,
That's
and
right.
we've bred them to be compatible with us, right? So
That's
we
right.
need to give them what we bred them to do.
And they're unconditional love. They bring you up when you're down. I mean,
Yes,
they're there. They're like BFFs, best furry friends. Best furry
yes,
loved ones. And when they enter your house, and they're automatically they're part of your family. You adopt them, they're automatically your fur kids or fur kids. And they wanted to be treated in a TLC home, and they
yes.
all deserve that. And I wish all of them got that treatment. And
Well, and
the education you're teaching to educate people, more helpful tips, and
yes,
listen, that is so very important
and
because
it's
we can't
important.
just guess.
It
Yep.
would be so great if people were educated on the preparation, as I explained just now, before they get a dog, because sometimes you are lucky with your experiences. I'm sure this is not your first dog, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
No.
Um,
Yep.
so if every time you adopted, whether people adopt from a rescue or get from a high quality breeder, regardless, even if you have experience with other dogs, there's always a chance that something could be different and more difficult to manage with this new dog that people are about to get. So I really, really wish people would read my blog before they get a dog so that they can have everything in place when the dog arrives, and they won't feel stressed saying, oh no, I don't know about this. Oh no, yeah, I'm going to need a groomer. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to buy food. What do I buy? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I
It's
know.
just, even if people have had dogs before, having all this in place before you get the dog really means that when the dog arrives, you can just pay all attention to the dog, and you will be relaxed. The dog will be more relaxed because we're relaxed, right?
That's
um,
right.
because they feel our energy, and if we're tense because of course, no doubt about it, it's an adaptive situation for both us and the dog. We're both adjusting, but it's scarier for the dog because we couldn't tell the dog the day before, by the way, tomorrow you're going to a forever home. It just knows it's put into a vehicle and it shows up in this house, and it doesn't know why it's there, doesn't know how long it's there, doesn't know anything, right? So
That's
if people can plan in advance, it just makes it a calmer, more relaxing adjustment for the dog as much as possible.
That's right, and because it's not, especially when they're coming from a shelter, how stressful it is in there and everything.
Yes,
So you have to have patience to let them get used to your home because
yes,
they has in a very stressful situation. Everyone, so don't get like a week later and say, "Oh, I got to take it back." It's not getting used to it. No, you got to give
right,
it time. You have to work with them,
absolutely,
and give them that chance.
absolutely,
And you'll see a big change. I
yeah,
remember when Sugar Bear got here at first, she was hiding on the table looking at me like, who are you and where am I at? So I
yeah,
looked at her and said, I'm your new mommy. I'm your new mama
yeah,
bear.
yeah,
So yeah, and then she got used to it at fast. I was like amazed, just showing attention, showing her around the backyard, everything. You take that time and do it. You want to give them the right
yes,
foods, get them checked out because at the shelter they
yes,
do check them out.
yes,
Make sure that she was very healthy. And I said, hey, look at this, and I was when I was talking to them, they said they think that maybe she was abandoned because she had puppies, okay? And that's sad,
oh,
And I said she
yeah,
never has to worry about being abandoned again, okay?
yes,
And it's sad that that they thought that happened because she came in as a stray. but
Yes.
she was in great condition. I mean, she was, she had already been in there like 3 weeks, and I could tell when she looked at me and when she was in the kennel that her eyes read, "Please take me home with you," and then
Yeah.
bam, it got me. I was like, I wish I
Yeah.
could adopt all of them. I
Yeah.
looked at all of them and I said, "Look at this." I said, I yelled real loud, "I hope all of you find a TLC home, because that's what you want to see. That's
Yes.
no life form. They're
No.
safe there, but it's no life form. They can't get out and run and live in a home and be close with the other family members when they get adopted.
Well, it's not a life in a
So
shelter.
no,
No.
no,
And
no,
it's very
not at
frightening
all.
and stressful for them.
Oh yes, and they deserve to have TLC and help save lives. Everyone, if you're looking for a new furry loved one or furry loved ones, go to your nearest shelter, okay, and adopt. Don't shop. Go in there and give them the chance. Help save lives because the amount of healthy adoptable animals a year getting put down because of overcrowding is astronomical, okay? And it's going on year after year, decade
Hmm.
after decade, and we could all do better. Somebody that's looking for a new pet, or if your pet happens to pass away, we hate to see that happen because I've been through it, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But help. That's what your loved one would want you to do is go and adopt another one, and and bring it and help save a life because that's what they deserve. That I see going through news feed and everything on Facebook or X or LinkedIn, animals on death row, and I even have groups for that, Judy. To help save their life. A big shout out to all you cross posters out there and
Yes.
networkers to help to save lives.
Yes.
And so many of them don't make it, and they're all ages, and it's just so heartbreaking.
So, like,
So
here's the
you,
thing: is that
yep.
the high quality shelters will really help people find the right match for them. So, sometimes the average person has like a big heart and sees uh, the dogs at the shelter and chooses one for whatever reason, and hopefully it works out like it did for you. But a high quality shelter will will assess the dog's behavior over, I don't know, at least days if not weeks before putting them up for adoption, so that they can match that dog's character to the right home. My personal preferences are the ones that have foster care for the dogs, because then the dog has been assessed in a foster care's home, in an actual residential environment as opposed to a shelter. And then that person gets to really know the dog and writes up a report so that the shelter, the organization overall, can look for the right people for that dog. Like, so for example, I'm just going to say, like, it could be a breed like a golden doodle that is not known for being aggressive. But what if this particular golden doodle had certain triggers that made this dog nip people or whatever, right? If a foster care can assess that and potentially hopefully treat it right with a trainer, um, problems can be solved in advance of putting the dog up for adoption to increase the success of that placement. And there are foster cares that do that. There are organizations that do it that way. It would be nice if all the shelters did that. I don't know how hard it is for them to find foster homes. It probably is not that easy, but the organizations that do that, they pay the foster care person for the expenses of taking care of that dog. So there is an incentive, right? Like, if I might do that in the future, like, to not for the money, but you get to know a dog, you get to love it, you get to care for it. It's not necessarily your dog. You're going to find the organization is going to find a good home for that dog. Wouldn't that be ideal? Rather than so many of these dogs in a shelter, in a kennel cage, the organizers may never really know what that dog is like because it's so scared being in that institutional environment. So it would just be nice. The other thing too is I hear from people who have been looking for adoptions is they're overwhelmed with rescue agencies being too diligent with their questionnaire and their assessment of the person. So there's a possibility that some of these rescue agents have the pendulum has swung way too over to the other side. Whereas, years ago, let's say, I don't want to say 25 years ago, they would just, you like that dog, take it, right? Now it seems, and it's good, they're trying to match the right dog to the right person, but apparently they're too strict. Like a lot of them will not allow someone who lives in an apartment to adopt a dog. And it's a flat rule, regardless of whether this person is qualified to know what to do if the dog barks. Will that person get a trainer? Have they had this experience before with a dog that barks in an apartment? You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's not so straightforward. It doesn't mean that every rescue agency is going to match you with the right dog, or you're going to walk away with the dog that is suitable for you and your lifestyle. You may not even know it till you take them home. That's why I have this blog on a checklist of what's a good rescue agency, because we want it to be a successful outcome for everybody. We don't want that dog ending up back in the shelter, because that would be awful.
Oh yeah, can you imagine? I mean, being a dog living in a home and then have to go back to a shelter?
Yeah,
Oh,
it would be awful.
that would be terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
and it happens out there,
Oh, it
Judy.
happens a lot. That's why I wrote
Yes,
this blog.
yes,
you
and I'm
know?
glad you did
Yeah,
because it's the truth and reality of what's going on behind closed doors back there,
absolutely.
behind the scenes, and we
Yes.
got to know the truth and everything. And I
Yes.
wanted to, Judy, I got a shout out to Kate McFall in the studio.
Yes.
And I want to give her a shout out. She's a former guest on Listening In.
Okay.
We had a great show together, so
Nice.
many times.
Nice.
And she did a show for the black bear hunt here in Florida, the trophy hunting. We're trying to get it stopped.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
yes, and Kate, welcome in the chat room. I hope you speak on there later on. I'm going to be taking calls not too far from now. But that protest Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon in Florida, everyone, please go out and support the Black Bears. If you can't be there, sign the petition. Call Governor Ron DeSantis and tell him to oppose the Florida bear hunt in December because that vote is next the 12th, or I'm sorry, the 13th and the 14th, and that's next week. But Kate, if you want to speak on there later on, and I love when guests, and Judy, you're always welcome in to listen to chat.
Of course.
Multitask,
Thank
come in
you.
the chat room anytime.
Yes.
All of the former guests have made this podcast happen. 492 of them,
It's a
and all the
community.
callers. It is. We got a super team
It's
up
awesome.
there,
Yeah.
and yeah, Kate. I said, hey, you're so welcome. I call her Great Kate McFall, the Florida State Director for Humane World for Animals, and they also have a petition, everyone, for the black bears, and they also a terrible video that shows the dogs attacking a black bear come falling out of the trees and everything. And oh my goodness! But Kate's gonna be coming back, and I love to see these former guests pop up in on the show or listening in and working together. That's teamwork, right? I mean, that's
Yes.
what we got. And please
Yes.
share that protest. I have it on my timeline. I have it on Voices Carry for Animals podcast Facebook page, Voices Carry for Animals support group, and I have it on X. I got it everywhere. LinkedIn, and I'm going to continue to share it tomorrow because
How awful,
Saturday's
eh?
the day, and I will be at that protest, Kate, great Kate. Okay, the mama bears got to stand up for all the bears out there, the cubs. So we have to, and I hope it has record-breaking protesters on that, and we have to win this because that's terrible to have up to six dogs attack and kill a bear. You know,
Is
that's
that how
so
they do it?
wrong. Yeah,
Is that
that's
how they
what they're
do it?
allowed. The FWC, and that's not right. That's so cruel. You know, and these dogs are trained to be hunting dogs. You know, they have no choice in the matter.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
just like dog fighting.
they're not making an ethical judgment. They were just bred to do
Right.
it.
There you go, right
Yeah.
there. No choice in the matter. Bam.
No.
And it's sad, you know. So, and everybody that's new in this chat room, I want to give you all a big shout out and thank you for joining us. I mean, all kind of new names in there. This is great. Got a lot of positive energy and it's high, and that's what I like there, Judy. You know, working together as a team
Yes.
and getting the
Yes.
word out, you know, and what you're doing because, hey, you're amazing at what you do. I mean, just it's so educational. And check out her website, you everyone. And I got them the links also on my Voices Care for Animals.com where you can check them out, share them. You know, get on there and
Please
share
share
them.
it.
Yes, we
And
can't.
please subscribe and share.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what matters. You know, copy and paste that address bar at the top or whatever you got to do and get it
Yes.
out there. So you educate more people out there, more
Yes.
of your friends, more of your
Yes.
family, your neighbors, your coworkers. You know, the more education we get and awareness and the prevention, hey, the better. You know,
Absolutely.
and we don't have to be stressed out about it. We'll be all comfortable when that dog comes into the new home. You know, we want,
Exactly.
you know,
Wouldn't
and
that
get
be
to know them.
great?
Yes, definitely.
I
You know,
mean,
you know everything.
the
Yep,
number of
educate.
people I have met. There was somebody I met on the community I was living in up to a couple years ago, and this man stopped me because I was walking my dog, and his young daughter, I don't know, she was 11 or 12, and she said, "Oh, I want a dog too." And he said she's been online looking to adopt a dog, and the dog she wanted was from Brazil. And I said to him, "What's this agency?" And he said, "Well, it's affiliated to a veterinarian across the city." And I said, "Well, my guess is that this veterinarian is a business partner for that entity that's calling themselves a shelter. You don't even know if this dog was stolen, and you don't even know if it's
Right,
from Brazil." And I said, "I promise you, even if it's the dog that you see in the picture, that dog is going to be aggressive no matter what, because if it is from Brazil, it's been traveling for like 30 to 60 hours. It was plucked out of its environment and transported 30 to 60 hours later, maybe held in a shelter like with the vet, you know, in a kennel for who knows how long. I promise you, this dog is going to be aggressive because it's going to be terrified." And it was a small dog. It was like, it looked like it was like a mix of a Jack Russell and something else. Anyway, so he said, "Well, okay, I take it really seriously what you're saying." Sure enough, I think the daughter went ahead and ordered the dog. A couple of weeks later, I'm walking through the neighborhood, and this woman in a car stops me, and I say, "Do I know you?" And she said, "My husband was talking to you about my daughter who wanted this dog from Brazil." And I said, "Oh yeah." And she said, "Well, you were right. This dog is completely aggressive. We can't go near her." And I said, "You know, I warned you." And when I do dog training, I don't get involved with aggressive dogs because it's very complicated, multi-layered, and I know people who are very good at it, and I referred her to someone, and I really hoped that they went down that route instead of returning the dog, you know. But
right.
all of that,
Mm.
I mean, they were talking to me. They had a chance to avoid the situation for them and the dog. That dog was probably happier in Brazil. I promise you. You
Mm.
know.
Yep.
I mean, how would we feel if we're plucked out of our home, like our homeland, and put in a cargo of an airplane in a cage for 30 to 60 hours, and then held in an institution, and then transported to in a various vehicles, and then ending up in this stranger's house where they don't understand the language, and all the smells are different than what they're used to. Everything is different for them. No wonder they're scared. The poor dog.
That's right, and they're in this, environment that they're not used to, and it's so sad. And
And they
this
could have been
change is
stolen because this
right.
particular entity, I had no faith that it was legitimate. Veterinarians don't generally partner up with a Brazilian rescue agency. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It just, the
I
whole thing
know.
sounded suspicious to me.
Something's not right. Something
Yeah,
don't
something
sound
was
right.
not right.
Something's
And the
not
poor
added up.
dog, I hope they
Mm.
didn't, oh, I hope they didn't steal that dog from somebody. And anyway,
I know. But anyway, Judy, are you ready to take some calls?
I
And if
am.
if anybody has any comments or questions for Judy's dog report, you're more than welcome to come on air, okay? And on your phone or on your laptop, your iPad or your tablet, on the bottom right hand side, there's a phone icon or a mic icon. Just press it. That alerts me that you want to come on air, okay? And just try to refrain from any noises in the background. TVs, radios, conversations. You're more than welcome to come on board. But if you have any comments or questions, you can go right ahead. And all these shows are live and recorded live and archived, everyone. So if come in late or you miss any of them, you can always go back and listen, okay? 24/7 is share. And all the once I get it, published this evening, it'll be going out there. So you can always go back and listen to any of them. And there's 492 this evening there, Judy. That's a
That's
lot.
amazing.
I know. Within the
That's
hundreds
amazing.
over, it was they added in June. I celebrate my 11th year anniversary for Voices Carry for
Congratulations.
Animals. That's a long time. That's a
It
lot of
is.
shows, and 163 of them are on TS Radio Network. With Marty Oakley, sadly, she passed away April 1st of 2023. She was the grassroots of getting it all together, and I was her host. And she helped me get Animal Advocates Radio together, which I couldn't thank her enough. And we always stayed in touch. So may she rest in peace, and I'll never forget her as long as I live. And then the rest of the shows, 300, over 300 some, are out there also you can listen to. I'm so glad I got to transfer them over, to Podbean and FM. So they're
Thank
on both
goodness.
of them. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I can't just let all these shows go, and that way I have them. And then I
Fabulous.
found the site where, because when I was with Marty, I also co-hosted for Elder Abuse, over 75 shows. And so all mine voices carried for animals, elder, they're all mixed together on her network. And luckily I found the podchaser.com and I searched voices carried for animals, and it's all the ones I did on her network. Isn't that great? I didn't have to transfer over 2,000 shows over to Podbean or podserve.fm. And that's a great, website too. So I lucked out, so it worked out really good. This is all better for myself and Voices Carry for Animals and the guests and the listeners and the callers. I really love this new Podbean. I got to give
It's
them a new.
fabulous.
I love it, don't you? I mean, it's
Yeah.
great. And
Oh, it's so
Phil,
much easier.
yeah, and you got the chat room in there, and you can communicate. And
Yes.
everyone, if you want to speak to Judy, let me know. Alert me. The mic icon at the bottom, or the phone icon at the bottom right hand corner, and that'll alert me that you want to come on air. Okay. And just like I said, don't try to stay from any noises in the background because it picks up everything. And one thing about this podcast also, after I get it published, it will alert you on your phone or your laptop, your tablet or iPad that the episode has been published. It'll let you know. Or like if the show's starting up, okay, here we go. Kate McFall. Go ahead, Kate. Great, Kate. How are you? You're live and on the air. Hello?
Hey,
Hey, Kate.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm
How are
great.
you?
Thank you for the nice intro, and I appreciate that. And it's been great listening to your conversation and Judy, the great stuff. I was so happy to see you plug being a foster parent. I have been a foster mom, mostly for dogs, but cats too, for 20 plus years, and it's wonderful because
Isn't it great?
it is so great. And
It's
I
so great
fostered
for
for,
the pets,
yeah,
to
you
have
get
that
to know them better.
transition. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you
And
can better promote
and
them.
they're in an environment where someone is in it to help them before a family just welcomes them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And it is hard to get fosters. We always need more. So I'm glad that you plugged fostering, and I hope your listeners will think about it with your local shelter or group or whomever that's appropriate. But we always are looking for foster parents in short term and long term. So thank you for that and for the work that you're
Oh,
doing.
yeah. Oh, thank you. And here's the thing is, I haven't fostered yet, only because I've had my own pets. But also, I always thought I'd get too attached to the pet.
Yeah, but that's
And I'd
part of the
end up
deal.
keeping them.
No, yeah, I mean, I've got some of those too. I have several dogs and cats, but you just, you just find a really good adopter, and then you're
Yes.
happy. And then
Yeah.
I also have my eye on somebody else who needs out. So that's the motivation. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do get attached.
I bet you do.
Oh
But that's
yeah,
a good thing.
yeah. I just
That's a
toughen up a
fantastic
little
thing,
bit.
because that dog or cat learns to really trust the human if we truly care about them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
true.
it's a wonderful thing.
Well, awesome. Thanks, guys. I've really enjoyed listening.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks.
well, thank
Hey, thanks,
you.
great Kate. That's the former
Nice to
guest I
meet
was
you,
talking
Kate.
to many times. The Florida State Director for Humane World for Animals, which used to be the Humane Society of the United
Yeah,
States.
and
And
yeah,
we've been connected since like what I figured up, Kate, was 2018 or
I think so.
somewhere like that.
Yeah,
And she'll be coming
like
back
2017.
into this year. Yes, all these
Mm-hmm.
great shows, and hope this bear hunt
I
stops down here in
know.
Florida. You know, it's so
So,
sad. And
so
please visit
awful.
it. It's terrible. I mean, it's gut wrenching. And everyone, please, I got one more day to pass this protest because I think there's like seven or eight, maybe even nine
There
cities
are.
you can
And
go to
yes.
for the protest. So let's do a
Hmm.
record-breaking amount of protesters out there, and it's peaceful. You don't have to worry about any
Right.
trouble or any
Yeah.
problems, or you don't have to. We don't have to invite the SWAT team or anything like that.
Nope.
You
None of that.
know, none of that. We're peaceful, and that's that. So please
Right.
share it
And
and
we
get
hope
in.
people will come to Tallahassee. You already mentioned the meetings on the 13th. We want people to
Yes.
be respectful, but to tell them no. And I'm glad you mentioned hounding. It's probably one of the cruelest things I've ever seen. So there is no place in Florida. There's no place anywhere.
No.
Cruelty to animals is cruelty to animals, and
Yeah.
so thank you for
All for
mentioning that.
what, right? For
Yeah,
sport, entertainment.
if you can call it that, it's just
Yeah.
cruelty. So, and
It
ethical
is.
hunters don't do that. Ethical hunters do not do that. So we really at least want to get that out. We'd like to stop the whole thing, but it looks like if they do it, we're just asking that, pushing for them to at least not do the cruelest of them all.
What's an
But,
ethical hunter?
well, ethical hunter is one who certainly doesn't want to prolong any suffering, who's a quick, humane, if you will. I'm obviously not a hunter, but
Yeah, me
there's a big
neither.
difference.
Me
Yeah,
either.
I
Nope.
picked up on that. I picked up on that. But yeah, but there's a
You
big
think?
difference between an ethical hunter and someone who wants to do hounding, where the dogs, uh, hound the bear and terrify the bear. And if the bear is shot and comes out of the tree, they attack the bear and kill him, or they fall out. I mean, it's
Oh my
terrifying for the
God.
bear. It's
It's
prolonged
awful.
suffering, and no ethical hunter really, would support that. So yeah, that's so
Wow.
it's
I
yeah.
don't
So
know if
thank
that
you.
type of hunting with dogs doing that is here in Canada. I've never heard of it.
Some, but
Yeah?
yeah, it's bad. But But thank
It's
you
sad.
for, and you know what, a lot of our dog and cat, I say my dog and cat friends, are horrified and they're interested. They might not
Yes.
be leading the charge on the wildlife advocacy, but they care and
Yes.
they're horrified when they hear about this stuff.
Yes.
So people
I
who
think there's a
care
lot that goes
care.
on that the average person doesn't know. And when I find out through bits of information like this, it shocks me because
Yeah,
I mean, I don't believe everything that comes my way on Facebook. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not that I've
exactly.
seen anything about hunting, but if I had, now AI is, writing its own posts. So
Yeah,
I can't tell the truth from what is just
yeah,
fake
right.
images. But
Mm, that's scary.
I knowing this is really heartbreaking. I had no
It
idea
is.
this was
Well,
happening.
and bears have been protected in Florida for a long time. They're magnificent, beautiful bears, and they already have enough problems because of all the development, and many are hit by cars. So
Oh,
they haven't had a hunt in 10 years, and the one in 2015 did not go well. And they just had still hunting; they didn't have hounding. So we're really trying to not, object and oppose this hunt, and hope it doesn't go forward. But we need people to come to Tallahassee, which is in North Florida. It's a long, it's a big state, so that's difficult sometimes. But there's a lot of folks that are coming, and there's a lot of people who really care. So we're
that's
grateful.
amazing. So it's going to be a physical protest, like not
Well, no,
virtual.
what she's talking about was the protest this weekend in many different parts of Florida, which is awesome. The actual
Great.
meeting with the wildlife officials, where we're asking people to come and speak respectfully, opposing this, is on the 13th, and that's just outside Tallahassee, which is
I see.
North Florida. So yeah, and people who care. Like, I just put a sign in my front yard because there's a rabbit who's lives here, and I'm so excited that she's here. And
Oh,
sometimes
that's
people
awesome.
drive too
Yep.
fast, so I had this little sign made that says "slow down," and I put it, please, and I put a picture of a rabbit, and my neighbors love it. They're like,
Aw.
"I
Yep.
love your sign." I'm like, "Oh, good." I mean, I guess people don't think about it. I do 24/7, but not everyone does, and so just
I
help
swear
them.
one day, it hasn't happened yet, but one day I'm going to get rear-ended because I'm going to break for a squirrel, you
Yep.
know,
Well, me
because
too.
I
it's my
know.
instinct to break for squirrels, right?
Of
And if
course.
someone's driving really close to me, they won't know why I'm braking, right?
Well, they
Anyway,
shouldn't be tailgating. So
no, they shouldn't. But nevertheless, it's like
I know.
I'll take that hit for the
Yeah.
squirrel.
You're a good soul. You're a good
Yeah,
soul.
you got a big heart. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
do.
yes, because when they're going too fast, like over what was it, a couple months ago on this street, they fly down the street like they're on a main road. So
Yeah,
I called
yeah.
I got a petition going and everything. And do you know that the petition, from the time I got the petition and they got it signed by the neighbors for speed bumps, and it was 6 weeks it got approved. So they said in between 60 and 90 days have the speed bumps.
Nice.
Because you get tired of seeing them speeding down the road, you
Yes.
know, and
Great.
not caring. And what drew my attention was the neighbor's dog got loose, okay, and I was
Oh,
over there and I was yelling for help, and when I was on the phone with the owner, I said, we got to do something here. And then all of a sudden, we got the dog in the house, which was great
oh,
and
good.
everything. But this car was going by, I mean, like 60 miles, 65 miles an hour. And I was
On
picturing,
on a
I was
residential
like, I am
street.
so, yes, and it's
Wow.
25.
Oh my
And
God.
this dog could have got hit. I mean, I was like, this, I immediately called and was making calls to the city
Good.
mayor everywhere.
Yeah.
And I said, we call the cops. They're sitting on the roads, on the side streets.
Hmm.
They have given out tickets, but it's a continuous problem, and we have to do a prevention here. Even for the wildlife, for
Or the
Yes.
them to
and
cross
the
the streets,
children.
and the
Children
children, the
can dart out.
elderly. That's
Yeah.
right, and they're on bikes. There's no
Yeah.
sidewalks. So we have to. So I was like, 6 weeks. I wish all petitions would happen in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
fast.
and then everybody, I didn't have no problems getting signatures, and I said, you know what? this takes teamwork. We're doing prevention before tragedy happens.
Yes.
Because if a tragedy happens, we're going to freak out, and then and it's already taken care of. So all the
Yes. That's
speeders
amazing.
on there need to stop because it's going to
That's
come soon.
amazing, Debbie.
6 weeks time from
Wow.
reporting it to approval, and it was like this is great. So in order to see change, you got to take action. No
Yes.
questions asked.
True. Very
Yeah,
true.
we got to think about the wildlife. Lay some, put some water out for them because it's hot here in Florida.
Yeah,
Change
I
the water. I
bet.
mean, I do, and the bird, the birds. I have all these bird feeders and stuff, and the squirrels come in and they, eat the bird feed too, and so do these sand cranes. They're adorable. They got a baby. They had a baby crane, and I call them the Crane family, and they go out there. They are so adorable, and they'll come up. They're not even afraid of me when I put the food out, so they know
Wow.
where the food's going to be. So it helps them out. And the baby crane grew up fast in like 3 months. It's like, wow, look at this crane, and
They're
they'll pop
big,
up
aren't they?
almost. They're big. I mean, it's like what they'll go up to the bird feeders and even water, and they'll munch out.
They could do it just by reaching it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like wow. Yep, but think about them too, because the wildlife, with these mama bears out there, you don't want them to see losing. You don't want the cubs looking at them, they lose their mother right in front of them. That's like
Oh my
one
God.
of our family members getting murdered in front of us. They
Yes,
have
exactly.
families, and
And they won't
that's just so
survive
sad.
without their mother.
That's right. And
No animal can survive the infancy without their mother.
that's right. So we have to
It's
think about
awful.
that, all the wildlife out there. We're all sharing this
Hmm.
earth temporarily, and we got to make the best of it. And they
And if we
have
could
the
stop
right.
fireworks, that would
They
be
wouldn't
great.
have. Oh, that stuff's scary towards. I believe all the animals, they're
I
wild and in
agree.
the house and
Can you
and
imagine?
everything.
Can you imagine what it does
Wow.
to the wildlife, let alone our pets?
Oh, can
And
you?
now
I could
now I'm
just.
finding that people do them when it's not just holidays. And so it's
Yes.
random.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
randomness makes me so angry because if I'm
Oh,
about to head out for a walk with my dog, I don't know that there's going to be fireworks, you know? And when
right.
it's
It
when it's in the
scares them.
distance, he doesn't care. When it's right in our neighborhood, he runs back home. But inside the house, he's fine. It's just I don't blame him. I get scared also and startled when I don't expect it
Yep.
outside, So
Especially those big ones that go boom real loud. And I mean, it
yes,
makes you jump and
yes.
scares you. And whoa, because I can imagine what it does to them.
It
Sugar
sounds like a
Barrel running in the
bomb.
closet. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know. I
It's
wish they would outlaw that.
you
There's no
know
need for it anymore. We're not savages.
it's happens.
you know? I just feel it's so barbaric. It's like we don't really need to see flashy things. Are we that simple? I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe we are.
But the mommy, the bears out there and everything, they don't bother nobody. I think they're
No.
adorable.
And
And,
black bears
and
are not aggressive in any way.
no, no.
Only
And
if they're
they,
protecting their babies or we do something to them.
yep.
But
And
they're
I could
not
just,
aggressive.
no. And they're
And even
not
if they
bothering
were, like,
anybody.
let's say, I don't think you have grizzly bears there. I don't even think we do either here. But grizzly bears, if they are known for being aggressive, it has to do with their survival. There's a reason why they're doing it. It's not just to be the tough guy in the forest.
Yep.
And we should just
So
let them have their space and let them do what they got to do.
that's right. Let
And
them
then
live in
we will be
freedom.
safe and they'll be safe.
That's right. Let them live in freedom, not fear.
Yeah.
Let the cubs enjoy their mother. And
Yes.
I mean, because like I said, we don't, with a family member, we don't want to see a mom or dad or brother or sister get murdered right in front of us. They
Right.
got feelings just like we do.
Absolutely.
It hits them.
And they're so
They,
vulnerable, just like a child would be.
yeah. So they need them. And I've seen some even on Bear Defenders dot, on the Facebook and their website, and also and Kate, yeah, Adam did a great interview weeks ago too. Adam Chilossi, and from BearDefenders.org and one protest and advocacy organization. He did a great interview too, and always welcome all of you back. It's not one time, and that's it. We keep it going. The more exposure, the better. Any time we need help with anything, or I love doing these podcasts. Hey, almost hitting the 500 mark in what, 8 more weeks?
Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm tuning in for
500.
that one.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a special one too. So,
Yeah.
and thanks to all of you former guests, amazing, wonderful guests, very
Well,
informative shows. I mean, making voices carry for animals happen.
and you're
With all the
building a
callers.
community, and you've been doing it for
Yeah,
11 years, Debbie. So it's
I
amazing.
know. I'm not giving up either.
And
I'm not giving up.
I thank Spencer because he started Rebound Dog, and
Yes, yes.
he's brought together such passionate people together in one network
Oh
globally.
yeah. Yes,
And
he
I
did.
wouldn't, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about you. So, it's great.
Right. If you look at all these connections, I mean,
Yeah,
and I've been in contact with 5 years. I remember when he first started.
me too.
Yeah,
Five
he
years
came
ago.
on
Yeah.
and everything, and he's a gentleman too.
He's so
Love having
nice.
him on.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
And so and he's got me connected with, Carolyn Griffin, and who else was it? It was somebody else he just connected me with. Pet Pardon. Her name's Joyce. I don't have her name for her, but she'll be coming in next
Nice.
couple months.
Nice.
So, just working all together, and just a human chain reaction to take action, getting the word
Absolutely.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to continue, because that's what it takes. It's all about teamwork to see them positive victories. Strong
Yes.
leaders and
Yes.
strong supporters equal strong victories. And that's what we
Yes.
love. So,
It will
yep.
happen.
Oh, yeah.
I truly believe we're at the boiling point of acknowledging the animal abuse that we humans put upon them. And I
Yep.
think we're at the tipping point. I think we're on the other side. I'm hoping that positive change now is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. We can't give up. We
No.
cannot give up. And also on the Humane World for Animals, there's a lot of petitions on there, everyone. Check them out. To take
Okay.
action.
Mm-hmm.
Visit their site, because there's all different ones in there for horses, the bears, you name it. So I take some time, and I go through and I sign them, as many as I can that time, or go back or share them. I always but signed and shared. That's what it takes.
I take
So,
it doesn't matter if a Canadian signs those petitions.
I tell them, just like when I was telling them to call Governor Rod DeSantis. I said, call in worldwide, because the more voices, we are strength in numbers.
Yeah.
And keep it up. Sign the
Yeah.
petitions.
Yeah.
Because that once they see that, that's power in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
There's millions of us out there in America. And we, the people, have power if there is enough of us. If not, we're only spinning our wheels. So keep
Mm-hmm.
spreading the word. Get those signatures out there. Do what you can do. Every effort counts.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look the other way and sweep it under the rug and say, "Oh, they're not here. Excuses. They're not going to do nothing." Yes, they will. You got to find out for yourself. You
Well,
got to take that action.
if anything, they'll
Yep.
do something about it, like you saw with the 6 weeks of your petition. They'll do something about it just so that they don't get harassed about it anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I
The
think
louder.
it's a really good thing to keep on these petitions and these protests, because anyone who's running a government is saying, okay, I got to get onto other things. Let them have this. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know.
You wear them down with numbers of people.
That's right. You don't give up. You got to be
Right.
relentless,
Yeah.
optimistic, and
Yes.
proactive. If you give up, we automatically lose, and we can't have that. And
That's
if you
right.
see us keep coming back, we're not going away. So don't even think that we are. We're going to stay
That's
right
right.
there, and we're going to be pushing harder and harder, and we're going to be gaining strength. Because
Well,
once we strength in numbers, Mama Cat. That's what she always tells me, and it's so true. We
it
are strength
is.
in numbers,
It's
so we
true.
got to keep it up. We can't not give up.
Well, I hope you folks out there spread the word of my blog. I just want to educate dog owners or future dog owners to just be prepared
Yep.
and
And
let's
that's
have a positive.
Judy'sDogReport.com, everyone. Visit it, check it out. You learn something, I mean,
Yeah,
educate yourself. Don't refuse to learn or look the other way and think that you know or assume. Do it the right way.
it's a deep
Educate yourself.
read. You know,
That's
granted,
right.
it's a deep read, but it's worth the time. If people really care about the dog they're going to welcome into their home, then it's worth the time and effort to read through all these details that I've taken the time to write out.
Yep, that's right. I mean, like with the last weeks, I've had shows on the black bears, and James Scott, he was on there from Speak Up Rekiva, and he did an awesome show, for him, and can't thank him enough. And
Hmm.
we have to all work together and stay on it and not let it fizzle out on anything. Even
Yes,
what you're doing, you have to keep going because now you got new dog owners coming up. New
absolutely.
generations. You
Absolutely.
got educate them all because when you educate, even with children, when you educate them to respect animals with dignity and respect, then they go through their adulthood doing the same thing. You know,
Absolutely. And when we lead by example, like it's pretty obvious. We know that children who have who have seen their like adults around them abuse pets, or if they themselves have been abused, they don't learn how to be tender and loving to animals. And it's all part of building a generation that has utter respect, not just for pets, but for all animals, for
that,
wildlife. And
that's right.
because
Uh,
hopefully they,
Agreed.
every new generation, hopefully we put so much trust that they will make the difference, but as
That's
we
right.
try to educate them and we try to do what we can in our generation.
Yep. Making a better and safer world for their futures too, now and the futures. You
Yes,
know, and
true.
they especially thank us when their lives turn for the better. They can't
Yes,
tell us, but we know if
yes,
we're,
yes,
when we see the good photos, the happy homes they're in, and people
yes,
sharing, take photos with your pets. They're part of your family, and
yes.
keep them. And get out there and be proud of them, taking places and car rides. They love car rides, and spend some
I
quality
have a
time with them.
blog on safe road trips with dogs, by the way, to keep them
Oh
safe in
yeah.
the car. Yeah.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a teaching too.
There you go.
To
It's
learn
it's
to
not just a
learn.
given that you get in the car with the dog. They need to be safe.
Yep, they
Yeah.
have to be, and
Yeah.
that's learn, live and learn. You learn by that, but when you educate yourself and know, the
Yes.
stress goes away because you already know. Just like our
Yes.
everyday life, right?
It would be so
Whatever
much
we're doing out
easier,
there.
wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it
It'd be a lot
would.
easier. Yeah.
Yep, I have a
And
thing where I look things up. If I'm not sure, I'll look them up.
right.
Or like Pet MD, I look up on that if there's
Me
any
too.
issues, and
Yeah,
it's
me too.
very very handy because
Yes.
you're stressed out about, oh, this just happened or that happened. Look it up because they have the symptoms and everything, male, female, dog,
And
cat.
they're a very trustworthy website.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I've used that several times. And
I
I
agree. Me
recommend
too.
it, with anybody that
Yes.
tells me, hey, this happened to my dog or cat or whatever, look up on Pet MD because it shows
Yes.
everything, you
Yes.
know, even
And
for humans.
on the topic of
WebMD.
veterinarians, On the
Yep.
topic of vets, like right now, we're living in a moment where vet bills are extremely expensive.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
that a new dog owner should really research what does it cost annually for vet bills, but what will it cost if an emergency happens, and that could be thousands of dollars.
Yes. Yes.
So what happened? Are you prepared? Do you have a credit card or a line of credit in an emergency? Because the vets want to get paid right then and there, right? So yeah, I never had pet insurance before this dog that I have now because vet bills were not so crazily expensive. And now I have it, and I'm glad I do.
Oh yeah. And which one do you have? I know I have Lemonade. The insurance.
I'm with Trupanion.
True Command. Okay, I heard that's a good one too.
Trupanion is fantastic, and it was because I got 5 people in my life randomly tell me about them before I even decided I was going to buy insurance. I didn't ask them; they just told me, and all 5 had really good stories about how Trupanion does pay when you need it. So the best thing about them is once you choose your deductible. And once you choose your deductible, you can't go down, but you can go up in the future. Once you incur the deductible on any given expense, they will pay for that illness, for that pet, for the rest of the pet's life. There's no cap.
That's
Isn't that amazing?
that's amazing. Yes. Yes.
So they pay 90%. They don't pay 100%. So they pay 90%, which is fine. And they don't pay the tax amount. So let's say something is $500 plus tax. They'll pay 90% of $500, but they won't pay the tax. And then you pay the 10% of that 500. Like it's so reasonable.
Yep.
It's
and
a
yeah,
really good
that's
quality.
similar to Lemonade too. And I
Yeah.
know that, yeah, because I know when Sugar Bears is getting ready to renew, and they was trying to jack it up, and I said no, cancel it, right? So they
Yes.
went back down to the normal price, and I was like, see, okay, here we go. I got something going here.
Yeah.
Cancel, and then they'll come down if
Yeah.
they try to go up, you know.
Yeah.
So
And I have to say, like, so I've been with Trupanion. My dog is 2 years old, so I've had it for 2 years, and they only put the rate up $6 a year. Like, sorry, $6 a month. That's as much as they've gone up, which is I could deal with that. You know,
oh yeah,
that's
yep,
not a big
because you got to
increase,
watch.
but
No,
it's not a big
no.
increase, and I'm impressed actually that they haven't gouged me yet. You know,
Yeah. Everything else is get gouged. Homeowners insurance and property
yes,
taxes and
yes,
everything around us. It's like something's got to give. You know,
yes.
it's terrible. You know, the food, the
Yeah, it's all
gas, and oh,
yes, it's all
something's got
happening
to
at
give.
once. Yeah,
The inflation from every angle. You know,
yes.
so yep. So anyway, if anybody else has any questions, and thanks, Kate, for calling in. Great,
So nice
Kate.
to meet you,
I,
Kate.
I think
I have a
this.
question.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Aloha
Hey,
1978.
Aloha. Yes. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi.
Hi.
Yep.
Hi, Judy. And I wanted to get your opinion on dog sitting, though. Which companies do you trust? I mean, I don't know
For
if you could mention it
for
on
dog
air or
sitting,
not. Yes, pet sitting.
pet sitting. So I'm in
Yes.
Canada for one thing. Um, I'm not a fan of big company names. I'm not. I guess you have Rover also in the States, right?
I was going to mention that.
I would not trust Rover. Rover is like I'm trying to remember the name. Like we have Craigslist for cheap products. You have something in the States which I can't remember now. It's been
Hmm.
a while. To buy cheap products. But Rover, it's hit and miss. There could be
Hmm.
good ones in there, but I don't know how you would sift them out other than um, ask a lot of questions. So, like for one thing, I always ask, how many dogs at a time do you have in your facility? Are you in a house or are you in an institutional building? Do you have it fully fenced in? Depending on the number of dogs they have there, I would say, how many people do you have per ratio of the dogs? Do you keep the small dogs separate from the big dogs? What happens in an emergency if a dog has a health emergency? Like, get all these answers and go see the place way before you bring your dog to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because I've talked to people and they say they've trusted Rover, and one of their dogs wound up dead.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sure that happens more often than not. Rover is just a directory. That's all it is. The company is not vetting the businesses. It's sort of like when you buy stuff off of Amazon,
Yes.
a Prime member, like the Prime products, I tend to stay only with that because Amazon is standing behind those products 100%, meaning that you can return it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the third party vendors always worry me. So
Mm.
it's the same kind of thing. Rover puts no effort into vetting who's in their directory or not. So you're going to ask me, how do you find a good quality pet sitter? I would go with people you know who've had a good experience. Go with a personal referral.
Okay.
Start with you must have like a local Facebook group where you live.
Yes, but I live in a
Start
small
there.
town. Uh-huh.
Sorry?
I live in a small town, so I'm not sure if it'd be
Okay.
easier to sift comparing to the big city. I don't know if
So I don't know how many, like in a big city, you're going to have more options for one thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
But so I live in a small town, like my local community. I'm north of Toronto now. Where I am now, my community is 10,000, but the township is 30,000. Not huge, right? But it's
Mhm.
enough that when I go on my local Facebook group and I did it when I first moved up here 3 years ago, I was looking for various services.
Mhm.
And when I got raving recommendations for the same name over and over and over, for example, the car mechanic, oh my God, he's so ethical and he's so confident, right?
Mhm.
I wouldn't have known that being a newcomer until I had like several, maybe 12 people recommending this mechanic. So, how big of a town do you live in, or how small?
It's I can't recall the population, but it's a small, I would say similar to yours.
You will find good sitters than referrals. It's big enough. There's going to be people who are operating out of their homes like I do. I've been doing that even when I lived in Toronto, right? But I've
Mhm.
set up my business as a professional business in terms of I have liability insurance. I became I became a dog trainer with official education, so I know what I'm doing in terms of behavior. I only board one dog at a time, so there's less risk.
Yes.
But I would say if you can find and you can afford someone who only boards one dog at a time, that would be the way to go,
Mhm.
because then you don't have to worry about multiple dog scenarios, right?
Mhm.
And trusting that the person has the competency to make sure no dog fights break out and everything else. Um,
Because I'd
I would,
assume it's a small town that word gets out about one's company and their reputation. That's what I get.
yes, absolutely. But I
Mhm.
would say to get a referral, to know where to go, I would say go to your Facebook group, reach out to your community and say, can anyone recommend a high quality, professional, caring dog sitter? Because you will get people recommending, and the ones that are really good, the people will say, oh my God, this person's fantastic, I've had my dog with this person 10 times or whatever. The only thing is there's always a risk, because it's Facebook, there's always a risk that
Yes.
someone is lying.
Mhm.
um, but your town is small enough that somebody else will pipe in and say, no, I had my dog there and it was awful. You know what I mean?
It's like Craigslist in some ways.
In some
Similar.
ways, except the people are definitely local,
Yes.
as opposed to Craigslist, they can be from anywhere,
True.
right? So
Yes.
I wish I could tell you more other than ask a lot of questions, ask where the dog will sleep. Hopefully it's in someone's home. Some people don't like in a home business because it may not be run by someone professionally. I've come across plenty of people, not just here in this small town, but in Toronto, that they think it's just an easy way to make money and they set up a business in their house. One sign that that's not someone who knows dogs and is a professional dog care provider is if the price is really cheap. If the price is cheap and they keep more than three, 4 or 5 dogs, like if they're up to 10 dogs at a time, something's wrong. And, so if they build a relationship with you, like the pet sitter, if they're showing signs that they're building a relationship with you, even before you have your dog. So like I always request a meet and greet before the person leaves the dog with me. A high quality company will request that because they want to make sure that they accept your dog into their facility. They don't just take any dog that somebody calls and books them, like PetSmart would, right?
That's how I was just thinking of them too.
I would not go to PetSmart.
Mm.
PetSmart is what PetSmart. Oh, I shouldn't be saying this. It's going to be a recording. Okay, let me just say, PetSmart is not my favorite place. But it's also because it's the more personal and small the business is in terms of like if the fewer the dogs they have, the more attention your dog will have, the more control they will have over the circumstances. Now that's to say, I mean, there might be people that have had good experiences with PetSmart, and maybe PetSmart is good at having a high ratio of people to the dogs that they have. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're going to be accountable. They're too big to hide. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
there's been complaints about grooming. They're terrible at it.
I'd rather not say, but I'm not disagreeing. One of the things when we talk about groomers is I learned something by watching 60 Minutes going back about 10 years ago. I wasn't aware that for 10 years or 15 years prior to that, and it's still happening, dog groomers were becoming more efficient by having these heat boxes. So instead of blow drying the dog, like let's say a dog that doesn't need a style blow dried, they'll just put them in this heat box to dry off, and they'll have a timer or something. 60 Minutes did a story on this where a couple of dogs in the States had died in those boxes because the staff forgot the dog was in there. So once I saw that, when I was looking for a groomer for my last dog, she lived to 16, and sometimes I had to change groomers for various reasons. Nothing awful about the groomer, but they closed their business or they moved or whatever. My first question is, do you use a heat box? And their answer was only with permission from the owner. So they said, I knew they didn't use it on my dog because poodles need to be blow dried for them to look right when they walk out of there. So I would have a good sense that they're not going to use it on my dog. But I say this because I believe, I won't say the company name, but I think they were one of the companies that used those things for grooming. I'd rather not say any more. I would just say, if you're going to go through Rover, if you're going to get a referral from your local community, go to the place, ask a lot of questions, get a sense of how you feel. What does it look like? Is it clean? Ask them to see where the dogs are. How are they cared for? Let them show you. And if they won't let you come for a visit before, you don't want them taking care of your dog.
Yes, I agree. I understand.
It's a really scary thing, to the point where I've now gotten comfortable, like locally here in my community. I was asking if anybody knew of a pet sitter that would pet sit in my home. And this way I know my house is being cared for also, provided it's a really good referral, right?
I was thinking
it's a
that
leap of
too.
faith, right? The first time you have a
Yes.
stranger come stay in your house. Um,
Yes.
but it's possible. I found someone that like several people. No, it was through I found someone through a referral as a cat before I got this dog for a year and a half. I was in between dogs and I had my cat and I got a cat sitter to come twice a day. And she was referred by people in my community. Then when I needed someone to take care of both my cat and my dog, I wanted someone to stay in my home. It's just easier, right? Have one person take care of both. And my cat sitter doesn't do that, but she referred me to someone that she uses. So I felt completely comfortable with that. And that's the other thing. You could ask your vet for referrals. You can ask, if you have a dog groomer, ask the dog groomer that you trust for referrals for a general pet sitter or someone that will come to your house and sleep over. It's all through, like it was a leap of faith when I had that cat sitter come, but she was fabulous. So when she referred me to someone to pet sit in my home, I felt 100% comfortable and it all worked out fine.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Does
thank
this
you so much,
information help?
Judy.
Yeah,
Yes.
and ladies, I'm going to we shut down the show here in a few
Okay.
minutes. So if you have any more questions or comments for Judy, you're more than welcome to come on board, okay? And everything. You're so welcome, Aloha.
And you can reach me on Facebook.
Yes.
I have a group there. Well, you could just friend me and become a follower there, or I have a group, but honestly, I'm not interacting with the group as much as I do with my general followers. You can friend me and message me there. My email address is on my website. You can email me through there. My email address is judysdogreport@gmail.com. I'm more than glad to help you.
Awesome. And I'll tell you, another great show, Judy. And again, looking forward to
Yeah.
having you come back, you
Oh,
know.
thank you, Debbie.
Yes,
Anytime, honestly,
and
anytime.
and you come in and come in this chat room or get
I will.
connected, speak on air.
I
Yeah,
will.
all of you guests. Mama Cat's a former guest many times, and she's tuning in. You
Nice.
know, and Kate McFall. I mean, we have them come in, and it's great. You know,
Yes.
working together and with this live chat room, everyone. And go ahead if you're listening from the web and you want to join us anytime in the chat room, just download free the Podbean podcast app and player from Apple Store or Google Play, and then follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast, okay? And also on when you do have the app, whether it's on your phone or your laptop, your tablet, your iPad, it will alert you, and you could go to, just press the Podbean, you know, at the app and Voices Care for Animals, and it's going to have a live link in there, which showing. I checked on my phone, and it'll show, and you can press it right from there. It has all different shows that's going live right now, so that's awesome too. You know, there's so
Hmm.
many features that you can get involved in. You know, so
Fantastic.
yes, but I want to, if anybody wants, just alert me on the bottom right hand screen. It's either a phone icon or a mic icon. Alert me you want to come on air, and you're more than
Alert,
welcome because we're
alert,
going to.
alert,
Oh, there
alert,
we go.
alert.
There's another point.
I like that entrance.
Never make a quiet entrance.
I
You
love it.
know,
I love it.
she knows she. It's the mama cat. She takes
Uh,
care of over 100 colony cats. Or Judy, she's
I've
amazing.
met you before, Mama Cat. The very first time
We
I was
have
on with
met
Debbie,
Judy.
you came,
Yep.
you
Yeah,
joined
see.
in. Nice to hear you. I was going to say see you. Nice to hear you.
I was gonna call in earlier. I'm not feeling very well today, but I wanted to get on and say thank you for all your hard work. I do follow you. I do share your stuff. And Spencer
Awesome.
rocks.
Yeah, Spencer Hodges, rebound dog
Yeah.
Spencer
rocks.
does rock.
We got to tell him that we gave him a shout out. He also hooked me up with Deborah Hamilton. You know, why
Oh,
do
she's
pets
great.
matter?
Yes,
Yeah, she's been a
she's great.
guest on this show
She's
before, and I was
fabulous.
interviewed by her.
Yes.
So he has hooked us up a lot. I'm with a different one. So, that's great. That's teamwork all the way. And Mama Cat, she's a great guest also. And I've been hooked up with her since what, Mama Cat 2018 that we figured out. And
So
she's been a great.
long.
She hasn't ditched me yet, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Right.
we
Right.
we started this journey the same year anyway. 2014 is
Right.
when I got started. And you started your podcast in 2014, so
Yep, that's
you
right.
know we're
Well, I hope
close
you feel
buddies.
better, Mama Cat. Mama
Yeah. I
Cat's
hope you
Oh,
feel
down.
better.
it's
Yeah.
this medicine. My doctor switched my medicine, and it just is not agreeing with me at all. I'm not taking it
Oh.
anymore, but it's a 2-day dose when you take it. So I'm assuming I'm gonna probably not feel well for 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we hope you get better and everything, Mama Cat.
Yeah. Are
You
you
know.
connected with me on Facebook, Mama Cat?
I believe I am.
Oh,
All
wonderful.
right. Hey, you're on a
Wonderful.
roll.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. And then visit the website, everyone. Check it out because she's out there giving the great helpful tips on everything. That way you won't get so stressed out if you do bring a dog in. You're
Yes.
going to feel comfortable and at ease and
Yes.
into a
I
tender,
wanted to
loving care home.
I wanted to
And
add
when you're on
something
my
about
website, you can leave a comment and I respond to the comments. Like you can, if you have questions or whatever, you
say,
don't
yo,
have to
what's up, Judy?
Well, you can email me for that or private message me for that. I meant more about questions about the blog, but anyway.
Yeah, this way
Look,
you got to be professional.
Right.
I wanted to add one thing about PetSmart. Well, a couple. I worked for PetSmart as a groomer like
Okay.
20 years ago,
Okay.
and it was a sad state of affairs.
It was, eh?
So I quit.
Uh-huh.
I loved that job.
Aw.
I absolutely loved I did all the bathing and blowing out and the drying and all that, combing out and all that. And then they did the grooming. I didn't like doing the clipping and stuff, but I saw a lot of bad stuff in there, so I couldn't
You,
stick around and but
so you know what? I mean, I've had a few groomers who got their training there, and they
yeah,
said they were so anxious to leave
they
because of
would have
what they saw.
licensed me to be a groomer, as in doing the clipping and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I never went to school nor trained for it. They were
So,
just pushing it. They really wanted me to just work as a
wow.
groomer, and I'm like, no, 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 I'm
Yeah,
not even, you
that's
know.
awful.
But they do give me a lot of cat food, a lot of dog food.
Hmm.
Any any bags that are damaged, they can't sell them. They don't tape them up and just sell it.
Right.
Any bag that comes in damaged, they will call me and tell me, okay, we've got 3 or 4 bags of dog food, so many cat food, and I just go pick it up.
So you're not working for them anymore?
No, no,
And they're still
no.
doing this for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that particular,
Oh, wow. That's
but
that's awesome.
that particular store, I guess. You must have a relationship with the manager.
Kind of, not so much the manager, just the workers, and
Oh,
they
That's
nice.
awesome.
they go through managers like most people change
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
underwear.
yeah. Well,
So
but that's typical of most retail
Yep.
stores these days,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But the employees pass my info along,
Uh-huh.
and they're it's the back people that work in the back are the ones that mostly call me. But it's all been okay through the company and through the managers, so it's not a bad thing. But
Yes.
I just wanted to throw that out there because
Yes.
PetSmart will do that.
Yeah.
you know,
No.
but as
I
far as
guess
the groomers,
one must take the good, bad, and the ugly, right?
yeah,
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Okay,
don't.
ladies, I'm gonna be
Okay, we got to
closing
go.
down here. Yeah, and I give a big shout out to who entered the room right now, the chat room, Memphis 881 FM, Podbean. Hello and
Kitty
welcome to the chat
Williams.
room. and Kitty Williams entered the live studio. Listen at any time, everyone, because with our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. We have to be,
Absolutely.
we have to take action. We have to be their voices because they don't have any.
Right.
Neither does the elderly or the children. We have to
Yeah.
stand up for their rights. We have to stand up to have them have better lives and futures. Because if we
Yes.
ignore it, then the problems is not going to go away.
No.
They're not going to disappear. We have
No.
to go for stronger, stiffer laws and harsher penalties on a lot of cases here. So, but
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening, and I hope you join us next week. Guess who's coming in next week? Welcome him back there, Mama Cat.
Who's
Jeff
coming?
Jeff Coltonback, the Pity
Oh,
Rescue.
my horse buddy.
Yeah, that's it. He's awesome too, everyone. He's a
Oh.
dog trainer, author,
Yes.
speaker, pit bull lover, and advocate educator. He's the founder and director of Pity Rescue. I want to welcome him back and founding educator at the Pet Care Institute. He's a dog trainer, and I mean, he's the former president at Jeff Colton Dog Training and more. So we're going to welcome him back. I hope all of you join us next week, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific, everyone. And I hope you all, keep spreading the word, sharing this show, liking the show, following Voices Care for Animals podcast on the Podbean podcast web. Check out my host website. All the shows are located on there. I do have a tribute to Marty Oakley on there with a link to all the shows I did on her network and also on my website. So after this is published, you can listen to this show right from my website, voicescareforanimals.com. Subscriber free. And Judy, I can't wait to have you back on there. And you rock it too there, Judy. You rock it. So do you, Mama Cat and Kate
We
and
all need
Paul,
to rock it together.
You
Rock it.
got it right there. But I hope you all join us next week. And another great show, everyone. I love doing these podcasts,
Thank you
It,
so
it
much.
just,
Thank you so much, Debbie.
yes. All right, Voices Cared for Animals podcast. Coming live from Podbean Podcast app. How you like that one, Mama Cat? I got a
Did
new
you
toy.
do that?
You
Yes.
found the off
Oh, that's so
button.
cool. That is so cool.
Isn't that cool or what?
That is so cool.
First time she used it, we couldn't figure out how to shut the damn thing off. It just
Oh, that's hilarious.
we were losing it. But anyway, I'll be in touch with you, Judy, and everything.
Okay, for sure.
Look
Thanks,
before you come
Judy.
back
Oh,
on.
it's so nice to chat with you, Mama
Oh,
Cat.
this is great. This is great. Another great show. I love doing these podcasts because, they're the platform. It's not the only thing I do to help out the animals in need, but this platform is awesome, everyone, and I love it so much better than Blog Talk Radio.
Like
I
a
mean, Blog
family
Talk Radio was
reunion.
good, but it's a family reunion.
That's
So.
right.
But anyway, hope everybody, enjoyed the show and keep doing, keep joining us. Spread the word out there because this podcast can really grow. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is growing fast. So we got
Yes.
it takes teamwork to do it. But good
Keep
night,
doing what you're
everyone.
doing, Debbie.
I'm going to. I am relentless. Thank you. I am relentless. And don't forget the big protest on Saturday, everyone in Florida. BearDefenders.org. And check it out. Okay? We need you. Okay? Good night, everyone, and have a nice and peaceful evening. Mama Cat, paw in hand.
Paw in hand, united we stand against all animal neglect and cruelty across the land. Good night, everybody. God
Good
bless.
night,
night.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rocking the airways for Voices Care for Animals podcast. All the animals in need, we're rocking it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great
Good night,
evening.
Debbie.
Good night there, Mama Cat. Meow.